All right. Central Sports. We're here on Wednesday coming off the Super Bowl weekend. And boy, I can't wait. I can't wait. Vince, you know I can't wait. You know I can't wait. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Survived that weekend and now getting ready to pull all attention to basketball.
Which is the first question I wanted to ask. How you doing up there in Tennessee? How your team doing?
Doing very well. Just keep moving forward with 20-5, first place all by ourselves in the district. Got two more regular season games left, and if we can, we're lucky and fortunate enough to get those two. We'll be in sole first place in the district going into the tournament. So we're excited, but at the same time, we know we got work to do just to finish the regular season, then prepare, because at the end of the regular season, we go back to take 0-0.
Okay.
So
What's your
no
record again?
letdowns, no, we don't have to be in 5.
You said 20-5?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. And who is? You say you got two more games, regular season?
Two more games. Regular season game. Yeah, we got one Friday and then one Tuesday. And then all of our attention then goes to the district playoff.
Okay. Okay. All right. You guys made it to what, the Final Four last year?
No, we made it to the final 8 last year.
Okay. Oh, okay. The Final Eight. Okay. The Final Eight. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, listen. I want a couple of things. I was just watching the local news, and Jones High School had 24 signees today. 24. Yes. They had 24.
That's
A record in
24
school.
seconds.
They had 24 signees today at Jones High School.
Multiple sports.
I think it was football. Football.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Where they going?
The only one that I did see was UCF signed their starting quarterback.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now-
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah. Now, the one that I was telling you about, I don't know this guy. I think his last name is Jacob, but I don't know who he is. But he had 3 hats on the table, and his mom had an Alabama sweatshirt on. But he
Yeah.
picked up the
Yeah,
Florida
Tennessee
hat,
one.
and the mom walked out.
I had actually seen something on Facebook about that, and I didn't get a chance to go back and take a look at it. I think it was a Tennessee, Alabama, and a Florida hat.
Right.
And they were
Okay.
saying that he chose to go to Florida, and mom got upset. But that's all I saw,
Right.
and I was kind of wanting to go take a look at that, but she got up and walked out.
Yeah. That's
What
funny.
were you keeping that tonight? That is funny. That is funny. I bet mom wanted to go to Alabama too. I bet she wanted to Alabama too. I know that's what she was asking.
Wow.
How could you not go to Alabama?
Right. Well, there's been a crazy week when it comes to sports and, the Super Bowl. We were talking about you, of course. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
So what did you do for the Super Bowl, Vince?
Actually, it's been a quiet moment, but just I was in a very quiet, just sat down and watched the first half alone to really kind of soak it in, and then I went out and watched the second half at a small pizza parlor, and it was interesting to hear the comments that were coming out of there, because I think 90% of the people in there wanted Philadelphia to win. There was a small percentage that were putting for New England, which is kind of interesting. I really thought it would have been the other way around, but it was interesting to hear their reaction to the second half, things that took place in the second half, and it kind of. So I wanted to make sure I could see it all, hear it all, and it was great to have their input, some of their thoughts to it. That kind of made it interesting. So it turned out to be a much better Super Bowl experience than I had anticipated, because quite honestly, I had little or no interest in it at all. But then because we had talked about it so much, and then everybody around me seemed to be so hyped. I said, well, at least I have to pull for Philadelphia because they came out of our division. So let's just see what happens. And gosh knows, it turned out all the Super Bowls that I have seen, this has to rank among one of the best. I mean, I know our last few have not been that entertaining, but this one was without a shadow of a doubt one of the best I can. And I would tell you this: everybody was concerned about the last drive of the Patriots, as was I, because we all know that there's a huge possibility that Brady could have pulled this thing out, at least got that touchdown and went for two. So you were still on the edge, but I was rooting for Philadelphia. And when they got that, when they sacked, they got that
fumble.
I think they got a sack on and fumble. And then when he came back and he threw the Hail Mary, I just didn't believe he'd get. For a moment there, I thought, "Oh no, please don't let this happen." And but they didn't pull it off, and it turned out to be even better than I had anticipated.
Okay. Let's back up a week, because last week you wasn't able to make the show because you wasn't feeling well. I mean, are you feeling better?
Yeah, feeling a lot better right now. Still got some, it's the weather, man. It's cold as stink up here. One day, what we call a high is the 30s, maybe 40s, and then it just dips right back down. We've had rain, we have freezing temperatures. And so I think I may have run myself down a little bit and just really, really was having some what I believe now may have been the onset of a flu. I've had some arthritic problems. I'm starting to show my age now because my bones are starting to hurt. But they all came. I think everybody had a meeting at the same time, and I had to give in. I tell you what, but I'm feeling a lot better. Mobile, okay. That's it for me, is to be made around, and I'm happy. I don't care if I limp. I don't care if I drag. As long as I can move, I'm happy.
Right. Okay, well, we're going to back up some more, because last week what I did was I did have an interview with Dr. Robinson, and he gave me he gave me like a 30-minute interview talking about Nasser Sandusky, that whole thing of the what you carry with you, fighting to get past whatever that is, and to still to be able to concentrate on performing, still be able to win the gold medal. But also I asked him, the same thing that we had talked about when it comes to that, is that medal is a reminder of every time you put it around your neck, or every time you see it hanging, or every time you see it, is it a reminder, psychologically, whatever's going on about that experience, because there were so many, and you don't know to what degree he did to each and every one of them. Mm-hmm. So we kind of went over that as well. But we also talked about us as a whole, as you had talked about, where we look at, how we look at ourselves when it comes to the price, or what is the price when it comes to winning. As long as you're winning, right, then we would just kind of set this aside. So we kind of talked about that as well.
I'm so sorry I missed that, because I would have loved to hear his comments. And I had talked to a couple of people that I know that work in the behavioral health field. We kind of had a slight discussion about it as well, confirmed some of the things that I believe and know to be fact, and as well as open some doors for some other thoughts. But it's a very complicated situation at work that I believe works in the favor of the person that's doing the abusing. They really have the advantage, and they how to use it. They have a strong advantage over that person, no matter what they say or do. They really can use it against them, and that person needs, or that victim needs, help to get out from up under that. They really do need some help. So,
yeah, and then one of the other thing too, as you know, which is what I'm always asking, is like, why do we act like they're normal? Because every time we report on it, every time there's a story, it's covered like this is a normal, like these are just like normal beings that lives among us, but we don't ever talk about what that is mentally. We just look at their status, and I asked them about that as well, because long as you have this title, a doctor, as long as you live in a certain neighborhood and you have a certain income, we really don't address it. But he also, as we talk about, and especially from the field that you have, I mean, that you come from as well, is we don't handle mental health that well in this country.
You know, we're scared of it. As I said, I believe our two strongholds that we have that we struggle with the most is racism and mental health. We seem to be afraid of both of them to the point that we'll skim over the top of them. And we've enacted laws to supposedly support them, but we won't take that deep approach because many of the people that are enacting the laws are victims themselves. They're perpetrators. If they're not perpetrators, they're victims. And they themselves are suffering from a mental illness or a race. Because I'm calling racism a portion of mental health as well, because it's a fixation. It's a mental attitude that this is how you see it. We're afraid of that in this country. And I don't know where we're going to be with this, but you look at a lot of the activity that goes on, those two things are always present.
Right. I mean, because I mean, I can't help but look at myself as a man, and when I brought up the thing about Sandusky, and then I'm thinking about like whatever that is, because I can't fathom walking in the room and I'm looking at this little boy and I'm going, oh yeah. So I'm going, there's something wrong, but that's not. I've yet to hear a story about any of this when they talk about the mental illness part of it, because he was successful in his career. So therefore he must be okay.
But Charles, the other side of that too is, and not to beat the dead horse on Sandusky, because I think it may have very well been true in this most recent case. Somebody saw this, and someone was aware of it, and they chose not to speak on it, or they thought, well, it won't happen again, or I just won't say anything about it. And that's the point. That's what our challenge is. That's where talking about being normal is where my question comes. How can you see an adult abusing a child and say that's okay? That's normal.
Right. And that was one of the things that I asked them about, because that's something that you had brought up, something that we had talked about. And you even said that you would hate to think that we have come to a society where winning at any cost, and what I always say, if you ever want to find the answer, just follow the money. That if you ever want to know the answer to the question, just follow the money. Just follow the money. Somehow or another, everything will be okay if you just make enough money.
Well, it's that money issue. Sometimes it's just the money provides the cover. I can ignore it because I can cover it. If anything happens, I can pay for it, or I can buy enough people they won't talk about it. And so that money is again the root of that all evil. But again, back to your point is when did we come to the conclusion that this was okay? I must have missed that, because I'm still thinking there's something wrong with that. When I see inappropriate touching, inappropriate behavior or conversation, I'm immediately saying, whoa, we can't do that. We don't do that. And that's in the slightest form, that's sometimes in a joking manner, because I want to make sure that in my presence, everyone is protected to the best of sometimes I'm overprotected. Some of my kids say, Coach, come on, man. We just, I can't tell joking from reality. So I don't know that, and I don't want to know the difference. All I know is we're not going to do that here. So if that's being the case and we're protectors, as coaches, one of our jobs is to protect. How can you walk in? I don't care if this man is a legend, which in Sandusky's case, he had a legend, and the doctor here had and still look at that and say, yeah, but it's him, it's okay. I can't see that. Because it's him, that's what makes it not okay.
Wow. Well,
so I'm still struggling with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I even had James Harris on the show last week as well, and I asked him about his prediction. And Vince, we're gonna have a serious debate. We're gonna have a serious debate, and I would love. And actually, I was supposed to call him because we can have him on, because we're going to have him on by phone, because he has not updated his iPad, so therefore he can't download Chrome to be able to
Oh
come
my
on the
goodness.
show. So I was able to talk to
Okay.
him and record him via voice. But I would
Uh-huh.
love to have the discussion. Well, first of all, he he was in a way neutral, but said that very good chance that New England would win, but he said it that New England has always showed that they play very close games in the Super Bowl, and that Philly
Yeah, that's
does
true.
have a very good chance to win this game. So he kind of didn't pick,
He
but
trying to
that was
play it
his
safe on
comment,
both sides.
huh?
He trying to play it safe on both sides.
Yeah. So I told him that I'm going to ask him to come back on the show. He actually was going to come on the show tonight, but he was tied up. But I want to have a serious debate with you based on the comments. Remember what I was saying about if you put Joe Ferguson in that same spot, the results would probably be the same. And that debate goes back to this right here. And I'm not trying to ever take away anything from Tom Brady because he's a great quarterback.
Right.
He's magnificent. But my
I'm
point that I
supporting
try to bring across as we have evolved into this place in which we put so much on the quarterback, the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses always go back to the quarterback. And what I try to, this is my only point. Brady in that system, because regardless, when Brady goes down, their quarterbacks are successful. And my point of it
yes.
is that they give the quarterback time to throw. That's what they do. That system gives them time to throw. So my question that I would ask James Harris and any other quarterback, including Joe Ferguson, if you have that much time to throw, and my point is this right here, throughout that whole game, and I'm not taking away anything from Brady, there was how many throws, Vince, did you see where you went, wow, he threaded that ball and he put that ball in there and it was a magnificent throw? Because the majority of the time, his receivers that he hit are wide open. And it's nothing against him, but I'm talking about how well they execute. I'm talking about the system, and I'm talking about if you got time to throw the ball, you can execute. And I'm saying you can change out the pieces and place anybody in that system in the sense of a quarterback who can throw the ball, who can make plays, who don't make mistakes. Majority of the time, you're going to have the same results as Tom Brady. That's all I'm saying.
I do believe that that is a logical discussion. I mean, here would be the only challenge I would have in that.
Okay.
Systematically, I agree because I think the way that they're built, and they're really built around him for what he does. Because they don't scramble well, he doesn't scramble well. The pocket doesn't move very much because he doesn't move. What they do is they insulate him in that pocket. And what he does a great thing of that I think you can find quarterbacks that can do that as well. Once they learn the system, is understand his progressions. He knows where everybody is. He knows if you're not open, I know who's open. Now you can teach a quarterback to do the execution of that and how well that quarterback learns that, and that's a personal thing. That's not a system. But if you do it long enough, because the system is a rudimentary system for them, that I agree that you can just almost pick up anybody, because the reason I can't 100% say that is the personality of that quarterback has got to be very close to this. Because Brady's very, very, very patient. Why is he patient? Because he knows he can't run. So he has to be patient. Where you might put a quarterback back there who can throw it, but also realize, shoot, I can run as well. That's going to create a little bit difference, but you can train him to say, listen, you don't, because once that quarterback becomes comfortable, he's going to sit because he knows, because Brady gets an awful lot of time. He reads his progressions. He throws very accurately. And one of the things that the defenses have said is if you can rush him, you make mistakes, which is true. If you can get him rushed, he forces it because it throws off his excellent timing, and that's day to day. I think any quarterback in receiving, because he's not the only quarterback in receiving units that have had that kind of success. So to your point, yes, you can put anybody back there. System is you got to give because that's one of the things I'm concerned about. If their offensive coordinator is going, which he decided not to take the job in Baltimore, but the defensive coordinator has gone on and taken the job in Detroit, how much is that going to affect the system? I know that Belichick has thought about this. That's going to create a huge problem. They're having some internal coaching changes that probably is going to challenge them. But fundamentally, I agree with you. The way that thing is set up, and if you will listen, if you go exactly what they tell you to do, and you're going to have some of the same success. Backup quarterback, he's seeing it every day. He's seeing it every day. You know, he's getting a couple of reps. He's getting a lot.
But I'm going by what what I see. All right. And I'm not trying to take away anything from Brady. I'm not a Brady hater in that sense of the success. But what I'm talking about is, and this is what I'm trying to break down. When I think of Joe Montana and I think of Brady, I give you an example. If you go back to that 81 game when Dwight Clark in that game itself, that was back when I was a Dallas Cowboy fan because my mother was a Dallas Cowboy fan and we was brought up on watching Roger Staubach, Calvin Hill, and all those guys, and Too Tall Jones and Harvey Martin and Randy White, Hollywood Henderson. So you know who I'm talking about. That doomsday defense was great. And back then, Vince, you know you can throw the ball in 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, and you still could get hit. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Right? So what I'm saying is, in that game, as much as I was rooting for the Dallas Cowboys, that Joe Montana was driving me crazy. Because every time they got to him and they was right there, he did a Joe Montana. And even on that last play of that won that game with Dwight Clark, he pulled a Joe Montana. Right. And when there's pressure, he makes plays. When there's pressure on Brady, did you see what happened when Brady ran out of the pocket and he tried to throw the ball twice? Did you see what happened? Remember those two plays where he rolled out of the pocket and he threw like to the middle of the field twice? And I'm not, but what I'm saying is,
his defense is the same.
But what I'm saying is, if you take the best of Brady and put him in that game with the Dallas Cowboys, that game, Dallas would win that game. Dallas would win. And what I'm saying is, the way the system is set up, he has time to throw the ball. And all I'm saying is, when you put pressure on Brady, he becomes an average quarterback based on the fact that when you put pressure on Montana, he would drive you crazy. That's all I'm saying. And that's my only point.
Two different kind of quarterbacks. While Montana was in the 49er system at that time, they had one offensive, the creative offenses, which allowed them to do a lot of different things. But Montana could throw and run the ball enough to complete his passes. He was an accurate passer. They were built was similar to the way the Patriots were built in terms of giving him time to execute. So your point well taken. And I think that's the key. And that's what they're looking for. That my quarterback time to read the field and read progressions. I should have a level of success, providing I can execute it. You know, he's going to deliver on time and he's going to deliver where he's supposed to. That's the ideal situation. But here you got two clubs, or at least this club right now, that's getting that done. Now look at Philadelphia. He didn't have as much time, but he was highly effective in his passing, and he wasn't throwing bad passes. You know, he had, and the second part of that too, and this is one of the things that kind of irritated me a little bit about the game, is that people wanted to make excuses for Brady and them losing. There is no excuse,
right,
that needs to be given.
They was in the game to the last play. That was anybody's game.
And the second part of that too is when I'm saying, while we talk about Brady, but no great quarterback is anything without somebody catching the ball that he's throwing. And so you got to give those receivers. They run great routes. They get open. They understand what happens in a scramble. They know where they're supposed to be, and they catch the doggone ball. So I think it's I give Brady credit for delivering it, for getting it there to where it's supposed to be, and I'm gonna have to give the receivers, which is the system, allowing them to actually make that completion.
But Vince, what bothers me is what I'm saying is what I'm talking about is because I've never played football on that level, but I understand athletics enough to understand certain things of skills, and when I see somebody get beat or just being an athlete to some degree. So what I'm saying is that the game and how we see it and the commentating and all this stuff that we put on the quarterback, when it's a team game, the team concept, and it's a team, because example, when you talk about those 5 Super Bowls, one, look at that call, that tuck rule. That was one, because you already know on that level when they come together and they play, and all those, the majority of those games that they played have been close games. That game, to me, the Raiders should have won that game. That tuck rule, whatever that crap is that they finally took, I have no idea what that was. I have no idea what that was about. The other one was what they don't talk about as they beat the Falcons last year. That really wasn't Brady. That defense picked up and made some big plays, man, that made the difference in that game. And then whoever was that Seattle, whoever that was in Seattle that made that call. So there's like 3 games right there that wasn't like Brady. Like that was that's 3 Super Bowls right there that really could have gone the other way, and I don't really remember the others. But on that level, man, a lot of that has to do with just things going your way that day.
Well, you make a good point, because if you listen to the conversation that's been had just since the Super Bowl, they talk about the Philadelphia team in relationship to Tom Brady. They don't talk about the Patriots against the Philadelphia Eagles. You hear a conversation of Brady against Philadelphia. So what they're saying is there was a complete team effort from Philadelphia, but Brady was a superhero. I find that I guess I'm having a little bit of difficulty with that, because and Brady tries to cover it up. Belichick tries to cover it up and says it's a team effort, which I 100% agree. And I just, and maybe at some point in time they are saying that because he cannot win by himself. And I think, but the way they reference it, it's Philadelphia against Tom Brady. No, then if that's what it is, then I know the outcome of it. I already know what the outcome is going to be. So what you hear them, and they do that. That's a marketing tool. That's sportscasters. I read a tweet where a person was saying that they were upset at Chris Collinsworth and them the way they were calling the game, because they were calling as if they were disappointed because the Patriots were losing. They very well could have been, because everybody gets attached to a winner. You used to being there where he comes back in a 2-minute left in the game and he pulls the game out. Because I got caught up in that for a minute. Like, come on, guys, y'all got to score some more points, because you give Tom Brady enough time. Tom Brady and them Patriots, you're going to have problems. So we tend to think of it as Tom Brady, that he's going to come out and do this miracle. Well, from a marketing standpoint and from the QB position, which is the leader on the field, just like the point guard with the basketball, he's done some remarkable things, but to your point, he didn't do it by himself. And I think what made it even more exciting is that Philadelphia went to the Super Bowl with their backup quarterback, a guy who 3 years earlier was ready to give the game up, went out and executed the game plan, caught the TD where Brady dropped his, which could have been a bad pass. Very well could have been a bad pass. I mean, a little bit in front of him.
Oh,
a little bit in front of him.
Really?
That
Really?
dancing, I saw it. I'm thinking to myself, I thought fear got to him. Is what I thought. I thought he was going to get his brains knocked out. But when he ran the other way, he executed. I thought that was a great situation on the field because if you want to compare them, compare that, and the amount of passes and yardage that it was that kind of a football game. But when you sit back and you step back and you say you got a veteran, that system. You cannot deny that Philadelphia has a system, and
Right.
even the quarterback said from over there was it Falk was his name? He was
Right.
saying that they had sat down and said, okay, let's talk about what we. So he picked out plays that he liked, he was comfortable doing, and they shaped it around him. No different than what they're doing in New England, and adding that to a game plan. So you had two great game plans that got put on the field. I think the difference was defense. I really think it was defense, but two great. This is again one of those matchups where you had two great minds, a team of execution, and a couple of turnovers that made a big difference in the game. Great. That's what a Super Bowl game in my mind should be when you get the two best teams. They were the two best teams on the field the other day,
Okay. I got.
without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay. I got something for you, Vince. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You know, my world consists of cats. So I want to do it this way. And I'm doing this prediction. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm doing a prediction before the Super Bowl. And this is my prediction. And this is it's a little after 5 o'clock. It's on a Sunday. And if you look out, you really can't tell, but it's raining, so on and so forth. But I'm giving you my prediction. I'm predicting that Philly is going to win this game, and it's going to be more than a touchdown, at least a touchdown or more. I'm favoring the Eagles to win this game by a touchdown or more. So just to show you the time, by the way, World of Cats, they don't want to go out to the rain, but I'm going to show you what time it is. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to look at the time on the telly. Let's see. All right. We have CNN, and it is, what does it say? 5:09, 2:09 Pacific time. So a little bit before it starts, and it is, according to the clock on my computer, according to the calendar, and the time is what time? Sunday, 5. Okay. That's the time. So let me go back out here. And that's my prediction for Youth Central Sports to be shown on Wednesday before the game starts. My only prediction, my one shot of saying that the Philly is going to win this game by a touchdown or more. Okay, so anyway, beautiful day in the sense of the rain. Super Bowl Sunday, yay, yay.
That was a great segment. I thought you were going to have the catch predicted. I wasn't sure where you were going with that. But you hit it on the nose. It was a 9-point game. That was 9-point win, I think it was.
Eight. Yeah.
8 point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Touchdown, 2 point. That kind of a game.
Right.
That kind of a game. Great way to
Right.
close the season out. I don't think you could ask for more on either side. Very entertaining, on the edge of your seat. And if you're a true football guy, you had to walk away from that to just thrill that. And I actually ended up being thrilled because I really had no, other than the fact that I know we would talk about it here on Youth Central Sports, I had no plans to watch the game at all. In fact, I got up when I had been in bed most of the day watching college basketball, and got up and decided that I accidentally stumbled onto the TV. At the time, it was Heroes. It might have been 3-6 or 6-3 or 3-3 or something like that. And I got caught in it, and I started watching. So I'm
Okay.
glad I was disciplined enough to go ahead and look at it because it turned out to be one of the great ones.
Okay. I got something else for you. Okay.
Okay.
It's, I'm here. I had to bring on the Philadelphia fan.
Hey.
You had, you had, you have no idea what it's like living with a Philly fan. Anyway, her thing is, how long has this been going on now that you don't watch? I mean, what's this thing? She has this thing about she jinxed the Eagles. So
That was just this year.
just this year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, according to her, she didn't watch the entire season. But no, that's not true because you said every time you watch, they lose. So I'm saying, where did that come from?
Exactly. They always lose. They're winning. They're having a great season. So I'm like, oh, good. Okay. And then all of a sudden, when I start watching, they start losing.
So I was trying to explain to her from the beginning of the season. I said the Eagles are good this year; they're having a great season. So she refused to watch them this season, and now during the game, she was praising and whatever she was doing. As a matter of fact, doing that was it the interception? No, it was the fumble. It, she thought it was an interception because because she was like this.
I'm claiming it. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
So when she looked back up, the Eagles had the ball. So she was like, "Oh, interception!" I said, "No, it was a fumble."
But I was not looking. I was claiming that something was going to happen, and it did. So it worked.
Anyway, I just wanted to have her on because she right now, you have no idea. I'm thinking the neighbor's gonna call the police. She's from Jersey, so quickly explain the Jersey thing when it comes to being a Eagles fan.
Well, South Jersey is right across the border. We don't have a team, and South Jersey is right across the border of Philly. So our team is the Eagles. Everybody in South Jersey are just as crazy about the Eagles as Philly people are. So the fact that we've been waiting for this forever, I mean, it's first one, and they gave us a great game, a phenomenal game. So I mean, I'm a happy Philly fan right now, very happy.
Yeah, you really have no idea.
I'm trying to keep it down because my neighbors are probably already about to call the police on me.
Anyway, earlier you said that you probably would be pulling for Philly since you are a serious Dallas fan, Vince, that you probably would pull as long as it wasn't the Washington Redskins. But right. Again, it was interesting to sit here with the Philly fan and watch because I guess she kept thinking maybe New England was going to do the New England thing.
Yeah, they do it all the time.
Right. But one of the things that Philly did was what, if Jacksonville had done is that they came to win. They didn't play to lose. Right.
That's right.
Evidently, there's something that goes with this Super Bowl. And what is that?
Cheese steaks for everybody.
Yes. Cheesesteaks for everybody. And by the way, for those people here in the South, there's nothing like a Philly cheesesteak. Is it? Well, I call it a sub. Is it a sub? What do you call it up in Philly? A sub?
You can call it a sub.
Oh yeah, because my friend. Well, no, actually, you know what? That's different because he calls those sandwiches up there a hoagie, but it's a sub. No. It's a sub. There's nothing like a. Well, actually, mine came from Boston, but I know how they are. I love them up there. Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champion. Subs for everybody?
Yeah. Cheesesteaks for everybody.
Cheesesteaks for everybody. Oh, okay. Any last thing you want to say to Vince? People out there who she's a Philly fan. They just won the Super Bowl. What?
Go Eagles! Yes, finally. I'm sorry, I'm loud. I'm trying to keep it down.
Okay, right here on Youth Central Sports, it's the Philly fan who is actually from Jersey.
South Jersey.
Notice they say so.
Clarification, because North Jersey, they're Giants. South Jersey are Eagles. It's a big, big thing. Trust me. If you're from there, you know.
South Jersey for Philly. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. So now let's go back to Vince Carter. Coach Carter. Philly.
Philly Eagles. Go Philly.
that takes the show right there. That's the show right there. 'Cause I can only imagine how you feel being and to be a part of the first
Well,
winning program. I mean, and to get your Super Bowl, get a big Super Bowl like that against a team like the Patriots to get your first one. I mean, I'm speechless.
and plus, it was a great game. It was a
Yeah,
great game. You
and
know.
the thing that I like about the things that I liked about they had a couple of questions they tried to put controversy into a few plays, but it was no doubt about the winner. There was no questionable call. There was no anything. There's just more points on the board than the other guy, and I mean, just played to almost to perfection. I guess depending upon how you look at it, maybe it was played to perfection. They, had a couple of plays that everybody wanted to question. I thought the referees made the right call. They did the review. They came back, and again, just a great game. I mean, you can't take it away from it. I'm so happy for Fran, and I'm gonna ride on that a little bit. Got to ride with it just a little bit. Come out of our division. So I guess if I can't have my Cowboys, I have to go with the Eagles. As long as the Redskins now. I'm good.
Now, well, trust me. Like I said, she would not watch them the entire season. She refused to watch them, and so when the game started, it was loud, and when they won, she ran out the door. She opened the door and she screamed. Friends, what did you scream? It was something kind of crazy. It was something kind of crazy. And she said, and I don't care, neighbors, you can call the police if you want to.
They might have been screaming too.
And the entire game, she kept saying, I'm sorry, neighbors, because she knew she was loud.
I don't blame her. If I had been the Cowboys, I know I would have felt the same way. Probably still would have been running down the street, still screaming.
Okay, now,
especially your first.
let me ask you this right here. And, when you're talking to the kids and you try to explain life and the reality of life and the things that are important, how one Super Bowl you can be the hero because life teaches you moments. And then the next Super Bowl, they have shots of you showing, that you're crying on the sideline because you're not playing. And there's been so many stories about Belichick, whatever that was. And to me, whatever that story is, however you want to place it, whether it cost him this, cost him that, it's still his decision. You can't deny his success. And so whatever that decision was, and we may never know, we may never know why he at that moment and why it was done that way, which is really different and weird on any level. Not quite sure what that was about, but what did you take from that as a coach and a player?
From a coach's standpoint, I mean, obviously, he said, and I guess you kind of want to believe it, as you indicated, because of his credential and background, that if he says that he made the decision that he thought was best for the team. Now, we all know Belichick does a good job of camouflaging his activities. He doesn't share a lot, which I really don't blame him for not doing that. One of the factors that came into play is that he waited till just before game time to make that decision. It wasn't made early in the week, which makes you think there may have been something else. But bottom line is that's his call.
Right.
He's got to
Exactly.
wear whatever happens after that. That's his business. If he thinks he put the best guys on the field, the game plan they had, and they thought this kid was better at it than you do. As a player, every player wants to play, and every player wants to make the big play on the field. I think it's the way the system prepares you for that today is not your day. You tell kids sometimes, particularly in basketball, you're saying, well, gee, coach, why am I not playing? Why am I not playing? This wasn't a game for you. The style of play, the guy, the way they played against what you do, the way we want to attack against what you bring to the table just wasn't a game for you. That's one of the most difficult things to say. But I think what makes that palatable to the player is how you treated them before that particular moment comes along. That you've shown confidence in him. You said that you got to make him understand it's bigger than about you and me. It's about what's best for the team. whatever cost that is, that's what's best for the team. Does that mean that I may go out there and make a bad call? Yes. And cost us the game? Yes. That could very well, but I got to stand by my call.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if I
Yeah.
don't play you, it's not personal as much as I think that what I want to get done, the guys that I think can get done what I need to get done, you're not one of them in this particular case. Doesn't mean I don't trust you as much. Don't mean I don't have faith in you. But this is what I got to go to. And that's a very difficult conversation to have with young kids and obviously even with a mature man when he thinks that I should be playing. Now, I personally believe there's some other factors involved, but that's a difficult conversation no matter how you look at it. Now, if it was done earlier in the week, it may have been a little bit more palatable. I'm thinking, but the fact that you wait almost the game time, according to the way it's being reported, he knew just before the national anthem. Now,
Right.
that's a little unusual, I think, but again, you got to go with the coach. It's the coach's decision. You know, maybe something happened. There's been some conversation that he violated some rules or something like that, but no confirmation on that.
I wonder if he's gonna be there next season. I wonder. That's and plus
That'll be
he's
interesting.
yeah, he's supposed to be a pretty good. Actually, he's supposed to be one of the best corners.
Yeah, and the question would be who, if he's not there, whose decision will that be? Will that be his or will that be the team? Because the way that he's handled that, nobody wants that. We don't want our business in the street. We're not asking you to suck it up and say you like it, but we're asking you to bring that back to the office and say, hey, listen, guys, I don't like the way y'all treat. He's played this out in the media. I would not like that because I would like for you to come sit with me and say, Coach, I think you made a bad decision. And could you explain to me why you did that? And then let me share with you my thought pattern. But to put it all out in the street, it's not what you want because now you're bringing public opinion into it. Your people are hearing on one side of the view of that, and now they want to pick and choose. And I think from the coach's standpoint, that's not fair. But however, that is life. Wait until the last minute just before you walk out there and go tell the guy, hey, oh, by the way, you're not playing tonight. Because he did play on special teams, but they didn't put him in the game. Instead, they went with the kid wasn't quite a rookie, but he didn't have that kind of experience. Now, that's hard to say. I don't want to speculate by any means, but that's a tough one. But that's what he gets paid the big bucks for. Both of them is to accept the decision and go on and play the next game.
The only thing that I have not that it matters at all, but the only thing that bothers me about the Josh McDaniels thing when he turned the job down was I think they had brought in some coaches that thought that they was going to be working with him. That's the only thing that I have an issue with. If you don't want the job, okay, fine. Because what happens is, like they were saying, when they hire their new coach, that might not be the staff that he wants, So to me, that's kind of odd that you take it to that level in the sense to that degree. Because if you don't want the job, okay, but then when you start involving other people, that's a whole nother story.
I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I would be disappointed about that, and that creates a whole lot of confusion when you do that. To your point, 100%. I mean, if you don't want to take the job, Billy Donovan did to the Magic. It was a Magic. He came on with the Magic for 4 hours and said, "Oh, you know what? I don't think I want to do this." That's fine. But here, Josh was pretty much a foregone conclusion to the point that they had gone on and brought all these people in, and now they possibly don't have jobs, which to me is bizarre. And I would really want to know what was the reason for that. I really would love to hear what happened on that because you want to think we could have solved this before the game. We could have done this long before, because now you wait till after the game is over, so all the dust is clear, and then you say, "Oh, by the way, guys, I don't want the job." You could have said that 2 weeks ago. So what was the deciding factor? What changed everything is what would be one of the things I would want to know.
Well, according to some reports, based on what the sports talk hosts are talking about, was that Kraft wanted him to stay because of how well he works with Brady. They look at his numbers according to the reports of when he was not there with Brady, and then when he's with Brady. So according to the reports are saying that Kraft wanted him to stay, so Brady wanted him to stay. So whatever that is that he needed to work out, and probably dealing with money, and they also remember. I don't know if you heard that he is supposed to be the next in line in case Belichick leaves. According to what they're saying. So
Yeah, and I'm sure, but all of these factors didn't come to play that day. This
right,
has been in the works for a while, and there was something that had not been executed. It had not been pen to paper, guarantee, right dollar amount, or something that had allowed him to go ahead and say, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and take this job." Now, what probably happened, and the speculation on my part is that all of what you just said came together. We put pen to paper, and oh, by the way, we're going to go ahead and bump your salary to this, and here's the timeline that we proceed before Belichick will leave, and then we're going to compensate you based on that timeline.
okay.
Now he's sitting there thinking, well, why should I go there? Why not stay here? And I can see that. But my point being, the lives of the other people you have involved, that's my only concern. I agree with you on that. I don't care about what, if you can get a sweeter deal, go for it. I'm 100% with that. But what are you going to do about those other guys?
Right.
And that's the thing. That would be my point now. What you going to do about those guys? How can you help them, if at all? But I think it's a combination of all of what the talking heads are talking about. And I would fault Kraft and them for waiting to the last minute to do that, because they're as much as fault as Daniel for those other guys.
Right.
Not having, being able, they possibly don't have jobs. So,
Okay. All right. I got to ask you this question. Have you been following Cleveland lately? Have you been following them lately?
yes, I have.
What the heck is
Yes, I
going
have.
on?
Yes, I have.
What the heck is going? Now they won tonight in the last. Did you see the last second shot that he made? Did you see the shot
Yeah,
that?
but I don't care. They are imploding. I don't. They are blowing up. They are blowing up.
Right.
Lou's gonna lose his job. Now the owner wants to sell the team. The biggest question that they have about making any commitment to do anything is getting LeBron to sign that XP, and he won't do that. So meanwhile, they're just coming apart at the seams. And I can't say that I'm disappointed about it, because I don't personally. I don't really care.
Yeah, because I was
fan.
just talking about San Antonio is doing a nimble on Phoenix, boy. Wow. They just
By the way,
played
I
the
just saw
Magic.
clip of the young man. Yes, I just saw a clip of the young man signing. His mom got right up, walked right in front of the camera, and walked right to the stage. On the side. When he picked that head up, she said, "Oh my God!" The next thing, she got right up, walked right on out the way. Go, Mom.
Yeah. But just last week, they were leading, I think, Orlando by a wide margin, and they came back and they actually beat Orlando by 1 point. Now, just the other night, they was up by 21 on Orlando, and Orlando ended up beating them by like 18 points. Now, we're talking about Orlando, which is down like 2 or 3 players.
Yeah.
And I think they've lost like 8.
No, I'm just, yeah, they're on a slide that now everybody. Lou said the other day, I was reading earlier this morning where Lou said, "Well, we'll be in the playoffs," and he might be right about that. But if they don't get that internal struggle straight, they're gonna collapse because there's something internally that's eating away at them, and they can't seem to straighten it out. There's been rumors that Isaiah has brought some instability to the team, and that I don't know what to believe about that. But I do know that it's internal, and if they don't fix it, they may very well get to the playoffs, but they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. They could very well be going in the first series. So, and they're not healthy, and they're not healthy.
And then the other thing too was that now they're starting to recognize how valuable Kyrie was to that team as well. Because they wanted to make,
Never any question.
I mean, they wanted to make believe that his value was not what it was.
You can see, you can see it. He's sitting somewhere now laughing because he's saying, see, that's my point. That's what I was trying to get y'all to understand. And nobody wanted to hear that. So you went a different direction. And that chemistry is changed. You can see it on Lou's face. He just flabbergasted at moments, and he just dumbfounded about what the heck is going on.
Right.
And you see little signs of cracking in the armor about the way they respond to him in huddle, the way they respond to LeBron on the floor. It's almost offensive now. JR can't throw the ball out the gym sometimes. That's kind of, I mean, but here's the reality of sport. That's going to happen to you. If you don't plan for that next situation with your star players, that's just like your first unit and your second unit. You got to, once you shore up the first unit, you got working on shoring up the second unit. And I think they've been so spoiled with what they've had. They didn't plan for it, and now it's coming back to bite them. And some of the trades they've made have not been very good trades. And now they're seeking they're trying to get DeAndre Jordan from the Clippers. Supposedly there's a serious conversation going on trying to get him into Cleveland. I don't know if it might be too late for that, but
Right.
It'll be interesting. His deadline is Thursday. 8 o'clock Thursday, I think, is a deadline. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that comes about.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any big moves made yet, but I don't know, because like you said, tomorrow is the deadline, so we will see. I saw where the Thunder played a very good game against Golden State last night, and that was without your boy Anthony.
Golden
I mean,
State has been having, according to them, they're having a little up and down time. One of the things that they said of them that could very well be true of Cleveland as well is that those guys are tired. I mean, playing it, and you always got this bullseye on your back. So you got to come out and play at your best every night. The schedule is not in your favor. They have very little downtime because they go so deep in the playoffs. You go right into the championships. You're off for a few weeks, and then you got to get back into it. They could be just one of the things that Steve Kerr. He's not making any excuses. Not coming from him. But when you stop and you look at it, a couple of people are saying, some of the commentators say, these guys are, because you hear the guys saying, man, we can't wait for the All-Star break so we can just get a breather. They may be just flat out just tired, and they need some time off. And that'll be interesting to see what they look like when they come back after the All-Star break. It'll also be interesting to see what will Cleveland look like coming back after the All-Star break. Because and here's the thing that's so interesting. If those guys are not involved in the All-Star activities, a lot of them don't even go. They don't even game because they're tired. They go home and they rest, and they spend a little bit of time with family and and just kind of get their head back on straight, and then could come out to make that last second half grind. So that's gonna be interesting, I think, as you look at the second half, both from a Gold State standpoint, which I think they're just gonna ramp it up and get on down the highway. I'm not as confident that that's what's going to happen to Cleveland.
Okay, well, we're going to end it on this one last question. Who you think gonna win the Super Bowl next year?
I see the prediction already have the Patriots is ongoing favorite. So I'm going to go with the Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles because this year's Super Bowl, hoping the Cowboys will be in the hunt somewhere in there. We at least get down to it, and maybe if we get to the Super Bowl, we will win it. But right now, I'm gonna go with the favorite, which would have to be Philadelphia. If you're talking about Philadelphia and the Patriots, I'm going with Philly. Did you hear that, Fran?
Did you hear that, France? I just yeah. He just she said that's what she's saying. Cheesesteaks for everybody.
Amen. I'm gonna get one. And I don't even eat these things, but I'm gonna get one anyway in honor of praying.
You know, it's funny because when I went to school up in Boston, and I had become so in love with those cheesesteaks, and so when I came back to Florida, when I first got off the plane, I went looking for a cheesesteak. And let me tell you something. When I saw them steaming it, I'm looking at them like, what's that you doing? And when they gave me that cheesesteak that I got in Jacksonville, I didn't eat one for years. So what I did was I started making my own, and I became pretty good at making those cheesesteaks. You know, and as a matter of fact, there's a few people that when they found out that I was making cheesesteaks, they started coming over. Hey, get on the phone. Charles making cheesesteaks. So yeah, man,
It's a big difference.
Yeah, I love it, man. But I'm happy that you're feeling better.
Thank you.
When is your game? When is your game?
Friday.
Friday?
We have Friday. We have one Friday and one Tuesday, and that will end our regular season.
Okay,
for this year,
people.
and then we
Now,
get ready to prepare ourselves for the playoffs.
okay, people. About a month ago, Vince was supposed to be sending me information where I can watch these games. He got 2 more games left. Hey, when you guys go into the playoffs, will those games be streamed?
They should be. I can find out about that because there's a potential matchup that I would love for you to be able to see. That I really won't know until we get in the first weekend of play, which would be the weekend following next Tuesday. So if that happens, I will for sure, because that will be one of our rivals. We beat them twice. The last game is the one I should have sent you, because it was a barn burner, and we had beat them at our place, and then we went over their place and beat them in their gym. So it was. In fact, I may still be able to get that for you. We have a very strong production department, and they got that. I'm sure they got that game on film. So you got to remind me, though, Charles, because
Okay,
I
all right.
forget that.
Okay, I'm going to text you. I'm going to text you. I'm going to text you. I'm going to text you.
Yeah, do that.
Okay.
And I'll get it and send it to you.
All right. Again, happy you're feeling better. Looking forward to next week, and you can give us an update on what happened on Friday and the other game. So, by the way, one last question. I'm sorry. How's the weather? What's the temperature like there?
Right now, it's 22 right now. We're supposed
22?
to have a high on 22.
Did
Supposed to
you
have
say
a high
20?
on Friday of 60. Yeah, 2 and a 2.
Oh,
2 and a 2. Yeah,
it was.
2 and a 2.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right.
I'm
Well.
not complaining. Don't get me wrong. It's colder than that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're gonna get down to about. Oh yeah, it's been colder than it will get down. We're gonna get down to. Then we warm up tomorrow. What we call warming up, and then Friday we got a heat wave. We're gonna hit 60. So everybody's gonna be really excited. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be. I'm fine. I'm praying
Yeah.
for snow. I'm praying for snow. Send some snow.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for Youth Central Sports coming off the Super Bowl. Tomorrow, it's going to be crazy in Philly because that's when they're supposed to have the parade. They're expecting well over 1 million people. So and then when you know what we know, because we know there's no fans like those Philly fans, and they were just going crazy. So I can only imagine what the parade is going to be like. Going to be watching that, Vince? Going to be watching the
Most likely, I got a
parade?
game I got to watch tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I got a game I got to get tomorrow night, but somewhere in between there, I'm hoping to be able to see some of that because I want to celebrate with them, if only from afar.
Okay. All right. That's Youth Central Sports, and we want to thank you for taking the time out to hang with us. And we'll be back next week with Vince, and blessings to you Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.